Hello, everyone, and welcome to LDM Radio Sports Talk. My name is Alfonso Caldero, and joining me this week is Wesley Segundo.
Yerp, aka Wepa Man. What up?
So, LDM Radio Sports Talk is the sports show that talks about current events and other topics relatable to sports fans. And we're going to start our show today by congratulating our first 2020 COVID champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah. The Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Western Conference champion Dallas Stars 4-2.
And shut them out that game, too.
Yeah.
I think it was 2-0.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. But, congratulations to Tampa and everybody having a good time over there. We've seen saw some footage from the parade, and there was a lot of fun stuff that happened there yesterday. It was like some kind of like boat show parade. It was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I figures it's Florida.
Yeah.
Bust out another 1,000. Everybody's got a boat over there.
Well, you would think too, because like that's not the exact place you would want like a great parade, in these COVID times. But it seemed like they worked it out pretty well.
I get social distancing on a boat. I'm on a boat. Don't you ever forget.
So now our the next things to look forward to is the October 6th, which is next Tuesday, and the New York Rangers are going to be on the clock at number one pick.
The draft.
Yeah. So who are the Rangers picking?
Come on. Their sights are on freaking Alexis Lafreniere.
Yep. Big left winger. Hopefully come in and be an awesome player for us.
I mean, considering, French-Canadian kid, now we got a French-Canadian assistant coach, and Jacques Martin is, I believe, his name, right?
Yep. No, I think it's Jacques. Yeah, Jacques Martin. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then we have October 9th, which is next Friday, when the
free agency starts.
Free agency opens up, and that'll be a lot of fun. So, usually October, today's October 1st. Usually it's like a big celebration within the hockey world, and everybody's all amped because the new season's starting. There's some excitement coming in October. It's just a little different than what we're used to.
Yeah, usually by like October 7th, we would have like opening night, and me and him will run into each other.
Yeah.
But that's not happening.
Nah.
I mean, we happen to run into each other every week over here, so I guess that's good enough.
Luckily. So there's still a lot of hockey action to come up. It's gonna come fast because they're projecting the start of the season, which is not announced yet. The start of the season will be sometime end of December. Some speculation is that they'll make the Winter Classic game, which is annually on January 1st, that they'll make that the opening night. Which I think it's.
So what's it going to be like? The Winter Classic game opening up the season?
That would be like the season opener, basically. That
really?
There's speculation. There's nothing confirmed. Nobody really knows what the deal is with that yet.
Oh, okay. So I'm like thinking like, okay, it's just that one game, and then the following day, like, what, 27 other teams would play.
Yeah. Well, I think the ideal with it is
28, sorry.
The ideal is that like kind of like the way the baseball season opened up this year, because they had what was it, the Yankees played the Nationals, Dodgers played the Giants, and then after that everybody else started. There's a play around way to go about this, but the one interesting wrinkle to me, I think, is if it's going to be a condensed season, like if it's going to be less time for the season, like less days off and things like that, then that's something that they should know before free agency starts.
Yeah.
Because
that's something that they should have just planned way ahead.
Yeah, because then we'll get to in a second. We'll get to a prime goaltender that is now available on the market. But before that, in these situations, if you're in a condensed schedule, that means you're going to have more back-to-backs. That means you would want a stronger goaltender maybe than somebody who's going to start 70 games for you a year.
Maybe you're going to want to go with you want to go like in college where they have a three-man goalie rotation,
Yeah.
which you have two backups and the starter on
Yeah.
the starter on the ice, two backups on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think they'll ever get to a point where they play like three nights in a row, but there's gonna
You never know.
if they yeah. I mean, it is true. I mean, if in these crazy COVID times, if they're trying
Have you
to
ever watched
speed
college
up the
hockey?
process, no.
I suggest you should
Yeah.
watch.
The only thing I know is that Michigan has like the cool helmets, the same ones that they have for college football.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. And then I actually learned that from the Michigan move from the guy who was behind the net, and then he ended up doing a lacrosse move and getting the puck into
Wow.
the goal from behind the net. That was pretty cool. So yeah, so that is it for hockey right now. So there's more fun to come. It's going to be an exciting off season. So actually, we're actually going to stay on hockey. We're going to speak about a legend that is on the open market. For the first time in 15 years, Henrik Lundqvist is a free agent. So the future Hall of Fame Rangers goaltender was bought out by the New York Rangers. What are your thoughts on that?
It's bittersweet, but we saw this coming.
Yeah.
You really can't be surprised.
Nope, not surprised. No.
Look, I've said my fair share of comments on Lundqvist, but it was all based on his play.
Right.
And the way I talk is basically assessment of what's now and what's now, not what has been done then. That being said, the guy gave his all, no doubt. New York Ranger in and out. He was one of the best I've seen. Although when I became a fan of the New York Rangers, Mike Richter was still there, but he was already past his prime and about hit to retirement. Henrik Lundqvist did put us on the map from 2005 all the way up until, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 2015, because those were his prime years. From 2016 and on, it's been downhill for him.
Yeah.
He hasn't been elite, but it's going to be weird seeing him in another jersey.
Yeah.
I wish him well. I thank him for what he's done. But now it's time to go to Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah. The Rangers, for those at home who don't know, there's two stud goaltenders on the roster with Igor Shesterkin and Alexander Georgiev, and they're both 24 years old.
They're both from the Eastern Bloc.
Yeah, they're both absolutely fantastic. They take a lot of shots. The Rangers defense at the way it's presently constructed, gives up a lot of shots. So you really have to have somebody there who can withstand all that. And then they have somebody who's in the college ranks named Tyler Wall, who's coming up.
Who's like ripping it.
So
now
there's a very, very strong pipeline in goaltending in the New York Rangers.
You know what it is with the New York Rangers? Not for nothing, they never really had a goaltending pipeline problem.
Nope. That's one of the problems. I mean, that's one of the solutions that we've always had, which is great.
They remind me of the Yankees in this sense, because the Yankees always had a pipeline of catchers, relievers, first baseman, and that's about it.
Yep.
The Rangers, on the other hand, they always had a pipeline of defensemen. Sometimes wingers, but mostly goalies.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, a lot of different franchises, they always have like one strong position, like one really strong position.
One
like,
strong philosophy.
Yeah, so like the Philadelphia Flyers, for instance, haven't really had a great goaltender. They have Carter Hart right now, but before that, they didn't have a great goaltender since Ron Hextall in the late '90s. So
I mean, they had Bobrovsky, but then they just ran him out of town.
He wasn't that great as a Flyer. He was good before and after. He wasn't that great as a Flyer.
He was. He actually, not for nothing. It was just something about him that they could. You know what it was? It was the money that he was going for.
Yeah.
And since at that time they paid Ilya Bryzgalov so much money. What was it, like $40 million to be their goaltender or something like that at the time? And then they had to do that swap for Steve Mason.
Right.
For Bobrovsky. And now Bobrovsky has won the elite goaltenders. But as you said, Carter Hart is in the pipeline, and let's see how that goes. And you know
Yeah.
what's crazy too? They also had Peter Mrazek of the Carolina Hurricanes before he went to the Hurricanes.
Yeah, but I mean, these
That
aren't
didn't
like
work out.
superstar goaltenders, though. I mean, they're serviceable, they're good, but they're not like
Oh well, he's
you know,
Carolina's
stalwarts.
superstar,
I think
superstar goalie since Cam Ward.
yeah, and then the amount of time, the 15 years that the Henrik Lundqvist has been on the New York Rangers, I think the Islanders have probably went through like over 20 goalies in that time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just but there's just different areas where other teams are good. Like in different sports, like the New York Jets, who I follow, they've always been able to stop the run, no matter what their record is. They've always been able to stop the run. You know, it's just there's one consistent thing on every team that somebody's really, really good at. Is just trying to get the overall from you know, in order to be like an elite competitive team.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That's
that
a
being,
great balance.
That being said, we did have 10 prime years of Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah.
No doubt. But
Absolutely.
the last 5 years, it wasn't his prime years.
Yeah.
Injuries and age. When those two mix,
Yeah.
forget about it.
Unfortunately, in the salary cap era, there has to be a balance between the price for production. You know, the price doesn't match the production. You can always have more production in the price, but when the price is more than the production, that's when everybody starts having an issue with it.
That's when you start having, damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Different factors of fans.
Yeah.
You got the ones that stick up for one player, and you got the ones that are like, okay, I'm all about the team, and then, you know, we all know how the conflict of interest goes.
Yeah. So now we're going to go into what October 9th is looking like at the moment. For the 3 local teams, we're not going to get into every team right now because we don't have all that time. But for the New York Rangers, with these moves, they ended up trading longtime defenseman Mark Stahl earlier this last week. So
like what? A prospect and like cash considerations?
we gave them the New York Rangers gave the Detroit Red Wings Mark Stahl and the second round pick basically just to take them and for future considerations, which is not going to be much. It's basically they're
Either
taking
a
the salary. Yeah.
Either a pick or basically cash. That's
Yeah,
what
so
it is.
but they're basically we gave them a pick just to take the money. So he's making making a little over $5 million. That comes off of the salary cap. So right now the New York Rangers are looking at $23.09 million to budget to sign 5 restricted free agents, and they have 13 players on the roster right now. So they basically have to get 10. They have to sign 10 players with the $23 million that they've freed up, and they have 2 first-round picks, the first overall and the number 22 overall. And right now, with the Henrik Lundqvist buyout, on top of the other buyouts that they already had from previous seasons, they have $13 million in dead money for the salary cap this season.
Dead money.
Dead
Would you
money.
like to elaborate on that for people that don't understand?
So the salary cap number is $81.5 million. 13 of it is charged to the past buyouts that the Rangers have had. Right now they have $5.5 million on Henrik Lundqvist, $6 million on Kevin Shattenkirk, who just won a Stanley Cup with the Toronto Lightning, the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I don't know why I'm having trouble saying Tampa Bay Lightning today.
You're thinking about Toronto.
I know, right? Yeah.
You're thinking about going up.
They
to
didn't even
6?
have it in Toronto. They were in Edmonton when they won, so I don't even know. But then,
Hey, you want to know something?
what?
That's the first Cup winner in Edmonton since the Edmonton Oilers last
Yeah.
won their Stanley Cup.
1990, yeah.
Oh, wow. It was 1990.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the Oilers that won the Stanley Cup this year in their own home arena.
Yep. Nope. No! So, and
Yes!
for everybody at home, Canada, a Canadian hockey team, there's 7 in the NHL currently, and they have not won a Stanley Cup since 1993
Yep.
with the Montreal Canadiens. So, now we're going to move over to the New York Islanders. They're in a different situation. Actually, all 3 local teams are in a different situation as we go through it. So the New York Islanders, they have $8.91 million in salary cap space, so it's not very much. They have 2 restricted free agents to sign. They have 20 players signed on the roster already, so they basically are what they are at this point unless they make trades. And one player that stands out is Andrew Ladd. He was signed as a free agent a couple years ago. He makes $5.5 million, and he's signed for 3 more years, and he's not doing anything for the team. He was not even on the roster. This is a roster that went to the Eastern Conference Finals this past season.
Yeah. You know what's the Islanders' main focus should be freeing up money in order, because they do have 2 restricted free agents. One of them is their star player in Matt Barzal.
Yep.
Now, let's ask this question. Yeah. If they don't, right now, because he's a restricted free agent, teams can offer sheet. They can't directly offer him. He can't go out and talk to other teams. They can offer him. Basically, shoot him an offer. The Islanders have to match it up. If they don't match it up and Barzal likes it, well, he goes to that team, and the Islanders, I think they do get compensated with picks, right?
Yes.
Well, like 4.
Depends on the level of deal that gets signed. The highest is like if they sign Barzal for like $10 million a year, then they'll get like 3 first-round picks or something like that.
Because I remember there was with the whole William Nylander stuff and Mitch Marner, if
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, the
forwards.
Toronto Maple Leafs. Now that we're talking about them, we got it out of your head.
Yeah.
If we would have offer sheeted Mitch Marner, we would have, honestly speaking, 4 straight years they would have had a first pick.
Yep.
The Toronto Maple Leafs, and we wouldn't have.
We wouldn't have Kako. We wouldn't have Kako, which was the number 2 pick. We wouldn't have the number 1 pick right now. Yeah. So, I think that's pretty much when restricted free agents are out there, you really have to sacrifice in order to sign them. I think that's why the system is the way it is, to really keep them together. But then a lot of times, like, they just sign bridge deals, like 1 or 2 year deals, and then after that, they become unrestricted free agents.
Yeah.
So, but the point is, you have to have the money on your salary cap in order to re-sign these players. And somebody like Matt Barzal, there's no way they can not sign him.
And if they don't, they're stupid. But then again, they have Olivier Wahlstrom and Kiefer Bellows in their pipeline. But still, their main focus is to re-sign Matt Barzal and look for a sniper that could go along with him. Yep.
So and looking in the roster, I would think that Andrew Ladd, they'd have to do something with that contract. And then at that point, they're going to have to get creative with their salary cap because they only have a little bit, but they have a couple needs, but they don't have as many needs as somebody like, say, the New York Rangers or the New York Devils do. This is a team. New Jersey Devils. This is a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals, so it's not like they're too far away. So they just have to do some fine tuning, and they'll be back as super competitive next season. Then we have the New Jersey Devils.
If things go right for them.
That's true.
Yeah.
So then we have the New Jersey Devils. They have 20. This is very different from the New York Rangers. They've created this room. They have sacrifices working against them. They're biting the bullet with the dead money. Then you have the New York Islanders, who are pretty much already there. They're just fine tuning to try to get better next season.
You need like 1 or 2 pieces.
Yes. Then we have the New Jersey Devils, who have $26.25 million, and this is a team that won the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. So they already have those players on the roster. They have 13 people on the roster, so they have to fill 10 spots with the 26.25 million. They have 4 restricted free agents and they have 3 first-round draft picks.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're set up for success in the long run. They wouldn't be something that would happen immediately next year, but they are, if they make all the right moves, or at least most of the right moves.
Are they really set up for success in the long run, or are they looking like the Pittsburgh Penguins 2.0?
No, well,
with Fred Shero on there.
They have,
you know what I mean?
see, looking at the New Jersey Devils roster, they have one player, which is the number one draft pick, Nico Hischier. Yeah. So he is the only long-term contract that they have more than 3 years. So they have a bunch of like single-year, 2-year deals. So they're gonna have cap flexibility moving forward, which is all important because 90% of the teams have cap restrictions or they don't have enough cap space. So the Devils, they're not gonna be hamstrung by not having enough money. So they're gonna be able to have free wielding, and if they pick good picks with these first rounders, and on top of the ones that they've already had with Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier. So with those two guys and everybody else on the roster, they should be able to build a winner toward the future. That is the plan. So that they're three very different teams in very different situations, and one contract that is on the Devils roster is Corey Schneider. He's the starting goaltender. He's lost his job a couple times, and he has 2 years at $6 million per left on his contract. So the Islanders and Devils don't have any buyouts on their roster, which is why I highlighted those two players that are potentially
could be
buyouts. Now buyouts, they help you with cap space immediately, but they hurt you in the long run because they the cap number gets divided over
how many years,
different terms of years. So it's not like a quick solution, but it is if you need it now. So that is our wrap up for the three local teams going into next Friday. So next Friday is when the bell rings, and let the pigeons loose.
And we'll talk about the draft.
Let the dogs out.
Woof.
All right. So now we're gonna get into the NBA Finals. The first seeded Los Angeles Lakers they have a 1-0 series lead on the number 5 seeded Miami Heat. Did you watch the game last night?
I watched the Yankees game last night.
Yeah, I watched the Yankees game as well too. But there's the Lakers. They have all the star power. They have pretty much a hand-picked roster, which is crazy. I mean, they got
the NBA's been like that for like a few years.
Yeah. Like LeBron has always got like a Justice League Super Friends kind of thing going on with NBA players. Yeah. So, and the Miami Heat, they ended up losing some players last night to injury. There's no telling if they'll
be lose Tyler Hero,
Dragic, and Abodio. I don't know.
Let's call him Adobo.
Yeah. So two of the star players. I mean, Jimmy Butler's the A1, but there's the other supporting cast that have
dude's been tearing
been able. Yeah. So
been tearing it.
If those guys don't come back, then I mean, forget it. But even with the roster itself, I mean, the Lakers are just so loaded with star names, talent, role players. I mean, you name it. It's probably going to be like a Lakers in 5 kind of situation, I assume. So, but the Lakers haven't been. 2010 was the last time they were in it. So, and then they also have the Kobe Bryant factor, who unfortunately passed away in January from an airplane accident. So, there's a lot of helicopter. Yeah. So there's a lot of sentimental
value towards it if they win.
Yeah. So, I don't think even if you hate the Lakers, you can't imagine that would be so bad, to ruin your day because all the other situations going on. So
I lost interest with the NBA.
Yeah, it's not the same as it used to be. It was more of a competitive balance this season compared to past seasons, which is also great.
Competitive balance.
Yeah, because
but there's still super teams going on, man.
Yeah,
so,
but it's not
I lost interest in that stuff.
Yeah, but it's not as prevalent as it was a couple years ago. I mean, it looked like
you know what we need.
There was one point where it looked like Golden State and the Cleveland Cavaliers were going to be like the matchup for the next 10 years. So,
you know what we need? We need to draw some excitement with this stuff. Like star players not always playing with star players beefing with star players on the court. Having like a Charles Oakley snuffing somebody. We need that. We need that type of stuff. Make NBA sort of violent again.
Yeah, that would be good.
And that'll draw my interest.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you can get if taking layups consistently into the hole and having to pay a price for it like the '90s were, then it would be a little different.
Who doesn't
Yeah.
remember when Carmelo Anthony waited for freaking Kevin Garnett outside?
Yeah. Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah.
We
Who
want to
doesn't
see that
remember
type
that?
of stuff.
So. All right, now we're gonna head into Major League Baseball, which our unprecedented playoff series have been starting. So the first round is a 3-game series, so like basically any old regular season.
It's the wild card just extended by 2 games.
Yeah,
by
so-
a game actually.
So much like the kind of playing the role of the qualifier round that the NHL
Yeah.
had. But the actual basics of it itself is the 1 versus the 8 seed. It was 8 teams in each league. So there's 8 teams in the American League, 8 teams in the National League.
16-team playoff.
And we have so it was like the 1 versus 8, the 2 versus 7. So very much like hockey and the NBA and the NHL run, which is great. Actually, I love the idea myself, except for one wrinkle, which I'll get into in a second. So we have the first seeded Rays, Tampa Bay Rays, ended up beating
Swept them.
the Toronto Blue Jays 2-0.
They took out the broom, said, all right, we got to get rid of the dust.
Yeah.
Take out the dead
So
birds.
the Oakland Athletics are the number 2 seed, and they're playing the number 7 seeded Chicago White Sox.
Which right now is the elimination game going
Yeah,
on at ESPN. I think the score is still 3-2.
That's what it was when we came on air.
Yeah.
That was 3-2 White Sox. So that series is tied at 1. So whoever wins that game will move on to the next round. Then
I
we
think they'll face the Astros.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the 3rd seeded Minnesota Twins lost to the 6th seeded Houston Astros 2-0.
Yeah, and which is their 18. They lost 18 playoff games straight.
Yeah. When everybody hates the Astros now. So like when you looked at the matchup and it was like Minnesota Twins versus the Houston Astros, you're like, all right, well, Houston's advancing to the next round. Like the Twins
Actually,
just don't
not
have
really,
it.
because if you really look at it, if the season went regular, the Houston Astros barely made it.
They did. I mean, it was a scheduling quirk. Well, it was a format quirk that they ended up benefiting from. But at the end of the day, I mean, when you look at playoff style baseball and you look at what the Houston Astros have done recently, then within the last like
I don't want to talk
5-10 years, yeah, and then
outta here.
what the Minnesota Twins have done historically is just
I mean, you would think that the Minnesota Twins would be improved.
yep.
But
Well, maybe next year.
maybe next year.
So then we have the number 4 seeded Cleveland Indians lost to the number 5 seeded New York Yankees 2-0. Last night's game was the longest 9-inning game in MLB history.
Oh my God.
Yo,
Yeah.
what the Yankees did. Let's start with game 1. What they did to Shane Bieber,
Yeah.
they pulled off Bronx behavior right there. It's like
That
they
was good.
saw the man that owed them money right by the bodega, took that Timberland boot and just stomped their brains out. And then yesterday it was just a crazy game.
Yeah.
It was like back and forth. Yankees
Seesaw
get it.
battle.
No, the Yankees are behind. They catch up. They tie the game. Then they blow the lead, and then it was just back and forth. I woke up at 12:44 in the morning, and the game was still going on.
Yeah. Well, one thing what made it so long was that 19 walks. Like anytime there's an absurd amount of walks in a game, that's what really drags it on. Like the MLB's like trying to limit all these things, like try to make the game quicker, like the walks, like
It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, like
ain't
the
gonna
strike zone. If the umpires
Not
call the
messing with
right
the
strike
game.
zone or whatever, then that would make the game go faster.
You know what's crazy? It's like they're trying to bandage a problem without like acknowledging the problem.
Yeah.
Like, they know what the problem is, but they're like, oh, but this is too long. So let's take out the intentional walk, the 4-ball intentional walk, and signal it.
Yeah.
That's not going to do anything.
Yeah,
Get your umpires to call the correct strikes.
that would help. So also on the Shane Bieber topic, so last night Brad Hand was 16 for 16 in save situations, and then last night ended up blowing his first save of the season. So that was a part of what helped the New York Yankees win there. So here's what we know right now. So the top seeded Tampa Bay Rays are going to face the 5th seeded New York Yankees in the next round. And then Houston, who is the 6th seed, is going to face whoever comes out of the A's and the White Sox series.
Yo, it'll be crazy if the A's and the Houston Astros face each other.
Yeah, that's what I want. I think that
Because
would
they've
be
been having beef all season.
yeah, that would be must-see TV for sure.
Oh, pay-per-view.
And I hope that happens. I think that would be the best way for the Astros to get eliminated earlier than facing whoever if they advance to the ALCS.
Y'all can't use trash cans now.
Yeah. So
Trash ass.
but one wrinkle with the way the seeding went. Now this is the first time that baseball has gone to the 8 seeds in each league. Now the first seeded Rays, if the White Sox won as the 7th seed, they should be playing the Rays because they're the lowest seed versus highest seed.
Yeah.
And then if the A's win today, then the Rays should be playing the Astros because that's the lowest seed versus the highest seed. I don't know why they went with the bracket format because usually they go, like lowest, highest seed, but then there's only like 2 rounds of the playoffs. It's the ALDS and then the ALCS. So you never really had this issue. I don't know why they went with the brackets, especially with no travel situations because they're going to be in bubbles. They're going to be in 2 different locations.
Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, so they're doing the bubble
California.
system like the MLB has. The NBA and the NHL have done.
And
So
they're letting some fans in too.
that's
Only
gonna be a little rare,
11,000 tickets can be sold.
Yeah, that's a little further on. But
No, that's for the next round.
the next round. I thought
Yeah.
that was the World Series.
No, that's for the next round.
Okay. So, we'll see how it goes there. But it's very state specific because I know the Dallas Cowboys had a couple fans over there, and
it's a sucky situation because
Yeah.
if you want to see, the thing is, it's limited amount of tickets. You got to do this like you're planning for a flight in freaking Expedia where you got only a certain amount of time to get your ticket.
Yeah.
And it sucks for the local economy because if you want to see your hometown team, you got to fly out of state.
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's stupid.
But so that's what we're rolling with there. So right now in the AL, we have the Rays versus the Yankees playing each other in the next round. And then we have Houston playing whoever wins the Oakland versus
White Sox game.
Does anybody have a score?
Hey,
Check our
score
producer.
update?
So, and then we're gonna move on to the NL series, first round series. Right now, the first seeded Dodgers are going up against the number 8 seeded Milwaukee Brewers,
This
and
is like what, the 3rd year in a row already?
yeah. Okay, so
5-0.
yeah. Okay, so the Los Angeles Dodgers have a 1-0 series lead. They won the game last night, and then they have game 2 tonight. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, it's probably a foregone conclusion that the LA Dodgers are going to come out of that one victorious. Then we have the 2nd seeded Atlanta Braves, who won their series earlier today. Actually, they won game 2 against the Cincinnati Reds, and the Cincinnati Reds did not score a run in those 2 games. Yeah.
It seems like Trevor Bauer is gonna bounce.
That's it.
Not for nothing, the Yankees should make a run for him.
Oh, totally, 100%.
I mean,
I'm totally support that
Just
move.
imagine a rotation of Cole, Bauer, Tanaka,
Yeah.
and then whoever's the last.
Yeah, whatever it costs. I mean, if we have to all do pitch in
extend-
for a GoFundMe to make this happen, let's do it.
Extend DJ LeMahieu too as well.
Yeah.
You have to.
Well, the Yankees are never short on money. That's one thing.
Yo, they're
So
rich.
there's then we have the 3rd seeded Chicago Cubs.
Here's the score update right now. It's 4-4. Bottom of the 5th, no outs. There's a 1 and 2 count. I don't know who's. Oh, bottom of the 5th. So the Oakland Athletics are up right now. No outs, and there's a 1 and 2 count.
All right, cool. So so that's gonna. That's not gonna end before this show does. So, all right.
Oh, Laureano.
So yeah. So the White Sox A's game is up in the air. So whoever wins that game, pretty much by next week's show, that series will probably be done.
We'll
see how it
probably
goes.
know by then.
Yeah, totally. So so back to all right. So the first seeded Dodgers up 1-0 against the 8th seeded Brewers. Then we have the second seeded Atlanta Braves, who won their series against the 7th seeded Cincinnati Reds. Now the Chicago Cubs are the 3rd seed, and they're playing the 6th seeded Marlins, who I like to call the Fighting Mattinglys. And they actually, the Fighting Mattinglys have a 1-0 series lead. And game 2.
You know when's the last time the Marlins been to the playoffs?
When they beat the Yankees, 2003.
2003, and that was the last time you ever seen Steve Bartman, and the last time you ever saw Miguel Cabrera in a Florida Marlins uniform.
Yep. So that game 2 was actually postponed by rain. It was supposed to be today, so that'll move on to tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. That would be quite an upset if the Marlins could win one of the next 2 games against the Chicago Cubs.
Dude, so
in Chicago.
Oh, so the Marlins are actually leading.
Yeah, they're leading the series 1-0.
And you know what's crazy? They're really 2-0 in the playoffs if you think about it.
Why is that?
The last 2 times that they've ever went to the playoffs, they won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And they never won their division. They always went in as a wild card.
Interesting.
It's an interesting fact.
Yeah. So then we have the 4th seeded San Diego Padres, who are playing the 5th seeded St. Louis Cardinals. And the Cardinals are up 1-0. And
they mollywopped them last
game
night.
2 is tonight, so that would be quite an upset as well.
What was going on with the Cardinals? They was playing like what, 36 games in like 2 weeks or something?
Yep, they played 38 games in the month of August, and then in the month of September they played 32 games.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So pretty much,
so what you were
they
saying?
had preseason for the playoffs.
So what you were saying last week, to piggyback on your point, you said that they would either be really, really tired or they'd be the hottest team going in. And we'll see what happens. But if they can win one of the next 2 games against San Diego had like the 2nd best record in the NL.
Yeah, they got one of the best pitchers in their rotation, in Mike Clevenger.
Yeah, so that would be interesting development there. So right now, the AL has 3 teams who they know are advancing, and then there's only 1 team in the NL right now that we know is advancing. So that'll be interesting developments moving on within the week.
Just so you know, before we end it on that point, for the MLB, the Houston Astros were the first team to advance.
Yeah.
And
we hope they're the first team that gets eliminated next round.
Seriously.
That would be cool. So now we're going to head on to the NFL. And there's been our first postponement of a game coming up this week. Today they announced that the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans are postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is all from the Titans side. They've had 5 players and 6 team personnel members that have tested positive.
11 people in total.
Yeah, there's the game's postponed to a different week. They don't know exactly how they're going to do that yet. And the Titans played the Minnesota Vikings last week, and the Vikings have not had any positive tests. So right now it just seems to be all Titans with this issue.
Seems like, I don't mean to crack a joke, but I have to because that's just me. The Titans really caught an 11-pack case of Corona.
All right. So it looks like we're in this was bound to happen. So the Titans are unfortunately the first guinea pig in this situation, and we're going to see how the NFL deals with this. Now, there's one scenario where the Titans are off Week 7, and then the Steelers are off Week 8, so they will try to move over the games and try to
reschedule it.
Yeah, that's one scenario they're talking about. But this is going to be an ongoing issue, and it'll be interesting to see how the NFL handles this situation long term.
Let's see. I mean, so far, I mean, with like some cases and stuff, is like the sports team's been going on. Question: has there been a declared champion for the MLS, or they just like folded?
I did not know. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I did not.
you were on top of that.
Yeah, I was. I was there for a little bit, and I kind of just fell off because I really didn't understand it myself. So I really didn't feel like I could
And nobody really
present
watches
it.
soccer over
Yeah.
here.
So
Sorry.
we will have that answer for you next week for sure.
Yeah, quick Google search. You guys can. Oh, I forgot to mention. Speaking about the MLB,
Uh huh.
we have the second person in a row who has. This is twice in 2 weeks that someone has trespassed into a MLB game.
Yep.
And it was caught on ESPN Live with the person getting arrested. A Cleveland Indians fan looking like he was wearing Tim's jeans and a gray sweater. They caught it as they were escorting him. So that's part of the trespassing count. So that's 2.
All right. So and both have been with the Yankees. Yeah.
That's 2.
So, not sure how to follow up with that. Yeah. It's just I don't know. Well, both are against the Yankees, so I don't know if that's like some kind of New York related thing.
Here.
Yeah.
I mean, could we like zoom in on the camera? Damn, I had it. Oh, right here.
Was that?
Can we zoom in on the camera?
Nah.
Right here.
Okay. All right. Hey, you looking for the police force?
It was during last night's Cleveland Yankees Indians game. Yeah. And this was on the bottom of the 5th inning when Josh Naylor was at bat. So a fan got arrested for trespassing. So
yeah,
that's
guess,
2.
The moral of the story is don't break into a COVID ballpark. 2 guys.
It was 2. So the count is 3.
Gang related.
Man down. Okay. Oh, wow.
I think you got that report from the police tracker, right? You hearing it at home, like.
I have the police tracker on my phone.
So, all right. So we're gonna get back to the NFL, and we have we're starting to get some separation here between teams. So there's 7 undefeated teams. The Buffalo Bills are 3-0. The Steelers and the Titans, who were supposed to play each other this week, they're both 3-0. So they're gonna get through this week being
The
still
Chiefs,
3-0.
3-0.
Packers 3-0. The Bears are 3-0.
Surprising.
That's probably the biggest surprise of all the 3-0 teams. And then the Seattle Seahawks.
Which is no surprise at all.
Nope.
And then the ones that are totally defeated are his
New York Jets. Yep.
My Giants.
Yeah. There's actually a battle of the totally defeated teams tonight with the Denver Broncos being 0-3 versus the 0-3 New York Jets. So somebody's got to win.
Somebody's has got to go.
Well, there could actually be a tie, which yeah, there could be a tie that happened like last week where two 0-2 teams, the Eagles and the Bengals, ended up having a tie. So that was just inept football, just colliding into each other and not being able to declare a winner.
Uh-huh.
So the 0-3 teams are the New York Jets, the aforementioned New York Giants, the Denver Broncos, the Houston Texans, which I think are the biggest surprise at 0-3.
Yeah, they are.
But also a big surprise at 0-3 is the Minnesota Vikings. I would think at least their defense would be a lot better.
Yeah.
They'd steal a win or two, but
I guess not.
yeah, they're stumbling out the gate. And oh wait, the biggest shocker in 0-3 land is actually I circled this to lead off with this. Unfortunately,
Or the
Atlanta Falcons. They've blown leads, like monumental leads. It's just
Dude,
been
they've
amazing.
blown leads like a Motel 6 hooker. Like
Yeah, it's just so bad.
They just blow.
Yeah, they had
They're definitely doing blow.
they had 20-point leads in each of the last 2 weeks, and they lost each game. But it's like completely laughable now on how bad it's been. It's just like
I mean, at least none of our teams are doing that.
no.
Well, except for your quarterbacks that's doing freaking pick 12s right now.
Nah, we're just from the start, which is bad. But it's just like these guys, like they're giving hope, and like if the game,
Like, yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna win.
yeah, if the game was shortened to like 50 minutes, they'd be like 3-0.
Yo, I really feel bad for whoever placed like a $5,000 bet on them.
Yeah, it's just it's bad to be an Atlanta Falcons, especially like in the heels of the Super Bowl where they lost a 28-3 lead against the New England Patriots. So it's like they already had that stigma, and now they're just pounding it and just keeping on going.
I was in AC over the weekend. I could have.
It was just so bad.
I could have actually made a bet. I was thinking about it. Like down that AC strip, like during the boardwalk, freaking DraftKings is having like their own betting site over there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah, it's like it's always been huge in New Jersey. That's why, yeah.
Well, yeah, but because Eric Schneiderman like canceled the shit out and made it like illegal because he's not getting a piece of the crumbs. F you, dude.
All right, so we have 7 undefeated teams, and then we have 6 totally defeated teams with 2 other teams that are 0-2-1.
Yo, somebody's O has got to go.
So there's the haves and the have-nots. It seems like a bigger disparity than usual, but
You have the
we'll see
haves,
how
the
it develops.
have-nots, and then you got the Atlanta Falcons that had it.
Yeah.
Not in my house.
So the best division in football right now is the NFC West. They all have winning records. The Seattle Seahawks are 3-0, and then everybody else is 2-1 in the division. The worst division in the NFL is
The NFC least.
yes, the NFC East. Everybody in the division has a losing record, and Washington and the Cowboys are 1-2, and then the Eagles and the Giants are winless.
Look, how do you lose to a no-name team?
Yeah, the Washington no names are in a tie for first place after 3 weeks.
Imagine coming home to your wife like, I just lost to a bunch of no-names.
Yeah.
Yo, you're getting a divorce the next day.
Yep.
Oh.
All right, so Oakland is in the lead right now. Was it 7-5? 6-4. So we'll see how that develops into the next week. But that is our show for today. So thank you very much, Wesley Segundo, for stopping by.
No problem. Thank you for having me over.
All right. My name is Alfonso Caldero, LDM Radio Sports Talk. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Eat some Taco Bell.
Woo! Whoop, whoop.
You used to say, oh, how I love you. You used to say, I will always be there for you. Empty words, a broken promise, because you just left without goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. so close every day, and you love to spend all your time with me. It's in the past. It didn't last because you just left without goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I know you don't need me now, but I'll stand by you. I know you don't want me now, but I am here for you. I know you don't want my love. I love you always. You are locked inside my heart forever. Forever. How come you change? It's all very strange. Born from the blue, like that I don't know you. And did it have value? Did you really love me too? I don't know. Well, I know you don't need me now, but I'll stand by you. I know you don't want me now, but I am here for you. I know you don't want my love. I love you always. You are locked inside my heart. I don't want nobody else. You have stolen my heart. I love you forever, forever.
Tell me that you love me. Tell me that you really care. Why push me away when you said you'd be right here? Got me going crazy, in and out of love. Got me going, going. Got me going crazy, in and out of love. Got me going, going. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you're really scared. Tell me anything. Just tell me what I need to hear. Got me going crazy, in and out of love. Got me going, going. Got me going crazy, in and out of love. Got me going, going. Should I stay? Should I leave? Do we fall? Where do we stop? Should I stay? Should I go? Breaks my heart, keep for a ride. Should I stay? Should I leave? Do we fall? Where do we stop? Should I go? Should I stay? Breaks my heart. Got me going in that love now. Boy, you know you got me going crazy. Got me going in that love now. You know you got me going crazy. Got me going in that love now. Oh, you know you got me going crazy. Got me going in that love now. Boy, you know you got me going crazy. Got me going crazy. In and out of love. Got me going, going. Somebody set me free. How can you do this to me? I'm losing my mind.
One, two, 1, 2. A little bit more on the headphone mic. A little bit. There we go. Okay, I said there we go. All right, I'm ready. Both things are in the middle? Yeah, just keep it like that. Because it's just one. Okay, let me know. So I can go live. So I can do Facebook Watch.